first time he's actually presented such issues directly to the corporation, and I'm sure we will be able to satisfy them and answer any lingering concerns that he or others in the committee might have.
Great, thank you. Governance.
Governance Committee met on November 14th. Most of the time we spent talking about the mission statement, but since we've already gone over that before and passed it, there's no need to rehash that. We also talked about job descriptions for top management, because the ABO has recommended practices for the Governance Committee, which says that we should review compensation and benefits for the managing director and other senior authority officials. To do that, we felt we need to have a good, clear understanding of what each position does and what the goals are for the year. So we took the first position we looked at was the CFO position. The goals were all laid out. It looked very good. I believe it looked very good. I think we need to put some more specifics, but then we'll take a look at the other positions as we go forward. But I think it was a really good start, and I think we're going down the right track. The other thing we discussed was how the board reviews contracts, and should the board review every line of every contract. Clearly, that's impossible. So we've got two ways to look at it. We look at nothing in one extreme, or we look at everything in the other extreme. And I think we've come up with a compromise that we want to suggest to the rest of the board, although most of the board members were at the meeting. And that is that when we get a resolution to pass, that we get some more detail behind the resolution than we had been getting previously. And I think we did that tonight, as a matter of fact. I think that was very good for the FDR one, that we had a lot of good detail. But if there is a specific contract that a board member does want to look at the actual fine print and review it in its entirety, they'll say so at resolution time, and they'll be able to review that contract before it actually gets signed. And I think everyone was okay with that process when we talked about it at the meeting.
I have a question about that, actually.
Sure.
Would the board member who has the request review it before the board meeting or at the board meeting?
The contract, the resolution itself would come to the board with all of the backup, and they would review it before. But if at the board there was,
or at the meeting,
if at the meeting the board member says that I want to see the actual details. It specifically arose because of the storefronts, because there were some minor issues in the storefront contract that some of the board members were uneasy about. And the alternative is, do you read every single line of the contract because it's this big? Or do you bring all of that in a resolution? And there has to be some compromise for that. So what we landed on was more detail, but if a specific board member has specific interest, Michael, for instance, will have more specific interest in some of the big technical stuff than any of us will ever have, I would think. So he may want to see the actual lines of a contract, and others may have other. David may want to see the slate roof contract before that goes in here for the church. I don't know. Anyway, so if a board member has a specific interest in seeing the entire contract, we would give them that option, but they would say so at resolution time, so not to hold anything up. Okay?
Operations.
Operations Committee met. The Operations Committee met. We went over a lot of parking issues, which is repair issues, the contracts with the toilet repairs, for the tram, a lot of concerns about the state of the staff given the changes in the weather, whether they're going to have closures. Most of these items are discussed in board meeting.
Real estate development.
The Real Estate Advisory Committee met on November 9th in a closed session regarding possible Island House ground lease extension and the related issues.
Thank you. I see the chief in the back, and the public safety report is available on request.
Commissioner, there was an incident on the island yesterday, and I wonder if someone from public safety can speak to it. Tell us what happened. Dr. Ferrer.
I was actually going to thank public safety for their assistance yesterday. We had an incident in one of our classes where one of our students made a serious threat involving a weapon. He announced it. So I was immediately called there. I cleared out the classroom and had in touch with public safety. As I'm walking in, he sees me and he bolts out of the building. Public safety arrived and they took all their cars and rubber patrolmen that they had on the island searching for him. 114 precinct also sent, we have some cars here, within 15 minutes, he was apprehended, was arrested, was at 114 precinct, didn't have any weapons on him. He announced when he made he had something at home, but he was then sent to Elmhurst Hospital for a psychiatric yeah, and then we're waiting to hear from them what the status is. As of right now, he's no longer a member of our school. We've sent the letters out to the parents as well as to the state, and he will not return. And we have our political issues to deal with in terms of holding hearings and everything else, but I really have to thank Renee and Keith and all the members of our staff because they responded immediately and it was not, thank God, a major issue, and they really cut it at the yes.
Great, thank you. That's a great job. Before we get to adjournment, let me add my sentiments to that of the president. And I wish everyone a very healthy and happy holiday season, and we look forward to coming back. And if we don't see you before, we'll definitely see you on January 19th.